Just getting back from the feed and seed store. Picked up 2 more bundles of T-posts, 6-foot T-posts. I picked up 2 more Layina bags. That gave me 5 of them. Trying to stockpile that stuff. I know some people say you can't stock it, but if you stock, I have an area that's more or less climate controlled. You can stock it in there, it'll be all right. I mean, for a while. And then the fertilizer never goes bad, so I just always pick up more. My wife was on the phone, her and my daughter in Ocala, Florida right now, and she was on the phone with me. She goes, "What are you getting?" I said, "Yeah, I'm gonna get 2 more bags of fertilizer." I said, "Why do you need 2 more bags of fertilizer?" Because I stock this stuff. You never know when that's gonna not be available, and I'd rather be totally organic and use my compost piles and heaps. But that only goes so far. You really have to, if I had time, I would get into that more and do a lot more with it. As it is now, I got 2 huge piles of it, but I got 3 huge gardens. So that doesn't make much of a difference. Right now, it's better served as a starting mix or potting soil for things. And I'll put a little bit in the garden from time to time. But when I really get cranking on that, I'll have piles and piles and tons of that stuff when I do it. It's just the Grazon problems got me worried, and Grazon is just one name for this herbicide that I talked about last time. There's many other names for the same poison, and you got to be, I think something like Ultima or Ultimate or Millennium, Alta. So there's so many names for it. Please look them all up and make sure that they ain't using that on the hay in the area. If they are, you ain't never gonna be a homesteader, because your ground's gonna be poisoned. Anyway, so this is all stuff, but well, the chicken feed is for chickens, but I got some more chicks coming. My niece hatched it out. So this is where the new garden's gonna be, over here. And this is interesting, something that's, you know, kind of happening. I mean, to me, look, man, them deer have been all over. They everywhere. They've been in, yeah, they're really starting to move now that the hunting season's over. I don't hunt deer around here. I mean, these are more or less our pets, but I know people do hunt them. So they come here and they get a little nice bite to eat. And this is all purple top turnips. I spread this out in this area. It's kind of like a cover crop. But it never really grew that well, and that's because this ground was virgin ground, and it had a big tree in it. Y'all can go back and see the videos where I cut the trees down. That's not that tree. It's those trees over there, pushed over there. That all fall down into mulch, but I just kind of pushed it up. That's the property line right there. And one day I hope to own that property if the people would ever sell to me. I don't know. I've only met them once. They live in the big city. So I cut this stump way down, and what I'm gonna do is just let it rot out in its place. And then I took the tractor and a tiller, and you can see these big pieces. That's all the roots. The tiller chopped that stuff up. It destroyed the roots all around here. So I can get pretty close to this stump for gardening, but I just, you know, that's gonna be a avoided spot. This holds water really bad, so I'm gonna have to till it up. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna back drag from that corner, which is high, and then make a swale down to the grade, not a swale, a grade down to the natural drainage. That's like a batture right there, which is a natural drainage. I guess in the southern parts of Louisiana they call it battures. Right here, I don't know if that's the same terminology. It's more like a drainage or a seasonal creek or something like that. But look at here, I want to show y'all these purple top turnips. These been in the ground for a long time, so they really didn't grow too big, but that's about the best you got. That's pretty good for out here. I mean, some of them, no, there's another pretty good one, but you look around in here and some of these are just, you know, nothing. And then I don't know what this is. I pulled one up the other day. Nope, that's not it. Watch, I ain't gonna be able to find none now. Let's see. Oh, here. This is where I pulled them up. But I don't know what that is. That's a turnip before it turns into a turnip, or just not enough nutrients. It also looks like a carrot to me or something. I don't know. Yeah, it's a turnip, but they just ain't growing because there ain't no nutrients in this soil. So I planted them, and I threw out, before I planted them, I put out a bunch of lime in this soil, some pelletized lime, and it's been in here for probably about 4 or 5 months with the lime, and then this planted, and a very little bit smattering of maybe some ammonia sulfate and maybe a little bit triple 13, but this ground has not really been treated. But look at here. This is a pecan tree. I wasn't originally going to include these pecan trees into the garden because I wanted more room, but I decided to stop it right here, the garden. And some of these purple top turnip seeds got cast out by the tree, and I always fertilize and mulch these pecan trees. I haven't gotten to mulch in this one yet this year because I was working in this area. But look the difference of the turnips when they grow in ground that's fertile. Look at the size of that turnip, and look at the size of that turnip, and look at the size of that turnip in the ground. I mean, just total difference when it's grown on fertile mulched ground. It's crazy. Even the ones on the outskirts are doing better. Look at that. I mean, it's just doing better. But all the ones in this virgin ground, they having hard time making a turnip. There's no nutrients in this ground at all. So I'm gonna disc this back in there, return the nutrients that they do have from these turnips. This was a terrible cover crop, but for the first time, I don't think it's too bad. I'm gonna return the nutrients to the ground. I'm gonna get some compost. I'm gonna spread it in here and put it in there, and then I'm gonna put a heavy fertilization rate, heavy coverage of commercial fertilizer on here too. Disc this in. I'm gonna put my post up and, you know, make the fence, and till this in, not disc it. And this is where I'm gonna try and grow tomatoes this year. Now that's kind of scary for me because I'd like to have a good tomato crop, but I also want to, you gotta start, and I'll show y'all something where that is from there. All right, here we are in the main garden. If y'all watched my channel for any length of time, or y'all seen the main garden. Look, I left the gate open and the kids got into here. Good thing it was after the freeze, and things took a hit in here for the freeze. The bok choy, look, it don't look too great. Some of it's coming back though, which is good. I'm gonna let it grow, but now we go to heat, and when bok choy gets heat, it bolts fast. The carrots, there's a lot of weeds in there too, but the carrots, if you looked at my video from last year, the carrot harvest, it wasn't that great. This year they looking a little bit better, but they still, the ground, the soil in here is still being created for a gardening soil. I always come in here and try and get these weeds out of here because there was a big gap. But I planted some different varieties. Like, let's see. And this has been in the ground for a while, so let's see. Oh shoot. This has been in the ground for quite some time, and that's all I got right there. So it's a good looking carrot, and it's got a ways to go still though. So get that later, a little snack for later when I wash it off. So they're doing a little better, but man, them things should be a lot farther along than that. But the problem is, last year they weren't even that good. So I want to show y'all something. This is amazing. Alright, I put my potatoes in before the freeze, and they came up like champs. Beautiful potatoes. There's an old one. See what happened to it? But if you start digging around there, and I'm not going to dig too deep, there's a lot of good roots in the ground. And look. See, I dug around. Look at this. I'm going to show you. See that little bit of green? That's potato green. That's potato green. It's all coming back. And that's one that's not showing it too greatly. Look at this. Look at that one. Look at this here. Look at that. Look at that. All the potatoes where they died, they're starting to shoot out new shoots. Not all of them, but most of them. Look, that one died, but look right there. That's green right there. Look at this one. Look at that one. Look at this one. All my potatoes are coming back. Look at that. 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 See the dead potato? That was the dead. It was big. Gone, but look. The phoenix from the ashes. Even Yukon Golds on this side. These were slower to come up in the beginning, but there's potatoes coming up. Ooh, there's weeds in the way, but that potatoes coming up. Looks like there might be some right. No. There's one. That's right by weed. That's one right there. That's a potato. Ooh, look at these. Nice. And it goes down the line. Nice. Now I got it quite close to these weeds, but you know it's all the way down. You really got to look hard to see them. They all coming back. The potatoes are coming back out. Yay! Look at that. So, might not have as many, but they are making a rise back into where they need to be. This ground up here is a little bit not as good as the middle ground, and then the other ground down at the bottom where this slopes down to, that's good fertile ground, but it stays wet, so you got to watch. Now, after amending this soil for a little while, you can get, this is radishes. Of course, that's some beautiful radishes. I'm gonna go ahead and look at the size of this big boy. What you doing growing over there by yourself? I'm gonna go put this over here and maybe pick that up later. Make me some radish salad. But okay, beets. Last year I had an utter and terrible failure in beets. Y'all might laugh at me. That grass, this is impossible to control, this grass, and when you pull it, it's like Velcro. That stuff is so bad. I hate this stuff. I hate it. It pulls easy, but everything comes up with it, so you got to watch what you're pulling around. Now, my beets, that one's just starting to form a beet. That one's just starting to get a beet. But as you go up, and there's different varieties, they're starting to put beets out. Now these are just like the carrots. They took a long time, but last year I didn't even get beets. They just formed a bit of a top, and that was it. I just hate this grass everywhere up in here. I just threw it into the aisle. Now the beets took a hammering with the freeze, but they survived it. Now the problem with that is, I think I'm gonna put some nitrogen down on there to get the tops to form real fast, and then after that, one more hit with maybe some triple 13 or 824-24, And but if you get a little bit up in here, you start seeing a nice little beetroot on there. See on that one right there? And the beetroot starting to form. And they're making beets. I'm gonna get beets this year. Look at this one. So nice. See those? They gonna form beets. They're little bitty beets right now, but I'm gonna have beets one way or the other. And I've been eating some of the beet leaves. They are good, but see those freeze really knocked them back. But look at all the new growth in there. So that's all gonna be regrow, and then it'll be fine, hopefully. Yeah, they got beets growing in there. See, that's a beet. Right there. And you know, it just continues on. Got a few carrots growing in this area. I wanted to see how they would grow up on this side. Now, y'all saw the radishes. Look at that big baseball size, tennis ball size radish. The English peas. They were doing so beautifully, amazingly beautifully before the freeze. But as you can see, I lost the large majority of them. And I was just starting to pick beautiful amounts of English peas. I mean, you could see all the flowers that were starting to, just lost them. And some of them might come back, but I'm not really too worried. I got some more cattle panels. It's about past the time for me to plant English peas this year. So I think it's a bust. I'm gonna have to, I'm still learning how to lay a garden out in this area. Last year we planted tomatoes and peppers in here, and I got potatoes in here this year. That's a nightshade. I know you ain't supposed to plant nightshades behind nightshades, but I really didn't have tomatoes on that side. I had cucumbers on that side and squash. On this side I had all the tomatoes and peppers to about right where this last potato row right here is growing. So we'll see what happens. So this year, once the potatoes are finished and the beets are finished, I'm going to tear this whole thing out, carrots, bok choy, and I'm going to plant this whole garden in different varieties of beans, pole beans, bush beans, stuff like that. And see how they do in here. Let the nitrogen fixation occur in the soil with the legumes and the rhizomes. And further go towards treating this soil to make it right. Last year I limed it hard, and you could tell the beets are doing much better than they did last year. The English peas are doing, they were doing so good. I was getting pretty good loads of them in. So next year I'm gonna know what I'm gonna do a little bit better with how I plant things side by side. So that's what I wanted to show y'all. The potatoes are coming up beautifully. You see if you take the dead potato plant and you look under it, there's the green coming back. That's not potato, that's potato green right there. That's potato green right there, and that's red ants. Dang, red ants everywhere. Let's see that dead potato plant. Let's see. It'll come back green. So I think I see some green. Yeah, it's gonna come back. Oh, look at these potato plants. Nice, and coming up right there, and right there, and right there, and right there. So it's all doing so good. Doing real good. So y'all, you saw the virgin ground in the other one, and you saw purple top turnips spread. I planted purple top turnips in here last year, and I got more turnips than I ever needed. And that was the first year of amending this soil, the first year after starting to amend it. Turnips are usually pretty hardy and easy, and you see how poorly they did in that other soil. I got to create that soil. I have to nurture it and bring it to life for gardening. And that people see and think, I don't, maybe y'all think I'm a novice at some of this. I'm not. I've been doing this for years. You might not think I have a background. I went to college, and I before I took the career path I took, I was in wildlife and fisheries, botany, agronomy. I did forestry. I was in dendrology courses, soil sciences. I took a lot of those kind of courses, so I know what I'm talking about. I know how to do pHs. I do the chemistry myself. I am a chemist of sorts. I know how to do chemistry. I know how to do biology. I know how to do microbiology. I know how to do a lot of that stuff. I'm big into genetics. So maybe I'll start getting into some of those topics later, because I think that people might think I don't know what I'm doing because of the way I portray this channel. The way I portray this channel is someone starting fresh and learning on a new piece of land. But the reason that I'm not so far along as some of these other major homesteaders is because the job I do to make money entails me working many 12-hour days, many oftentimes 14-day stretches. It's very hard to keep up with any kind of homesteading or gardening, any kind of garden, much less a homestead style garden with that kind of workload. And I'm trying to do it. I'm trying to appeal to people who have work and want to do this. I am doing it. I'm getting it done. There's things that I'm doing. You can see that you can get a garden. And what it's doing is you're learning. You might not be as a success as some of these other homestead channels, but you are learning. And when you have the full amount of time, which is coming, I'm getting older. I'm almost in my 50s. When I get to where my daughter's out of my house and she's taking care of herself, you should never not your kid. You always take care of them. But when the financial responsibility becomes more of her own burden to take care of herself, and me and my wife don't have to be all over the country or be at this place or work so much to take care of her needs. I mean, that's what we do. We work to basically get her where she needs to be in life, and to afford this stuff. But I'm gonna slow down, and then those days come, I'll have so much time to put into this, and I'll have these times to think back on to what I remember. Plus, I'll have the infrastructure in place from these times. I'll have this garden ready to go. It won't be like I'm starting from scratch at those times. So what you need to see by watching someone like me do this is that it was a start up from scratch. This was wooded park. The guy who lived here was 86 years old. He had turned this into a wooded park. He had fruit trees. He tried to garden a little bit, but to turn the ground that he has over here, that was grass like this, into gardening ground, more fruits, more trees producing. The fruit trees he had here weren't doing so good. The figs were doing and his mulberry trees, I didn't even see a fruit. I'm still trying to get them back. I don't know what he did to them. Mulberry trees are almost impossible to make like that, and he did. I don't know what the heck he did. His apple trees are severely diseased. I don't know if that's even worth trying to save them. They look pretty, but I see disease. The pear trees are doing fine, but some of them are so far diseased, I'm still trying to bring them back. The persimmon trees are doing okay, and I planted some more persimmons. Do great in the south. You're just fighting squirrels and wildlife to get any. I've only gotten like a handful of persimmons because the wildlife gets the rest. Anyway, that is something I wanted to tell y'all, that if you're not watching this channel for the right reason, then you're not getting what you're supposed to get from here. You're supposed to see a guy. And this also goes for another thing. My wife is not into homesteading. This is for some people out there who your significant other isn't into doing this kind of thing. she's happy to live out here, and she's happy to support me as a person and doing the things that she's glad to see me doing the things I love. But she has no desire to get out here, and I miss it. I wish she would. I love doing stuff with her, and it's my hope that maybe later she might get into it. But if she doesn't, I want people to see that you don't have to be all into the same thing. You can have your own desire. You just gotta be able to say you support each other in what they do. My wife likes to go, and she likes to her career is what she enjoys. She likes to research. She likes to write and edit textbooks for her career. She likes to do research and journals. That's great. I mean, we both had a strong academic background, and she chose to keep going. I had enough of school after about 25 years of it after, and postgraduate and stuff like that. I've had enough. I'm ready to start scaling back. She seems like she just keeps going and going and going with that stuff, and she travels to other states. She goes to other countries to I don't know, powwow with the people who are in her scientific field. She likes that stuff. But what I'm trying to get at, back to this topic, you don't have to each be on the same exact page. You just have to be in the same book. Okay? We both know that each other is on another chapter of whatever, and we can accept that, give and take, and it works out. She lets me come out here and doesn't bother me too much, you know. There's that time, that time. But for the most part, she's like, go in your yard and be happy. Right now, her and my daughter are having fun at some equestrian event in Florida at the World Equestrian Center. And that's what they like to do. My daughter, she's basically a professional horse rider at 15 years old. I mean, as professional as she can be. She has her own horse. She goes all over the country. She trains with Olympians. She trains with people who are of note in that field. And I'm happy for her. And I go see her every now and then. I like to watch it. But while they're away in Florida right now, I'm happy to be here and enjoying my garden and my land by myself. This is my vacation land. I like to vacation here. So anyway, that's what I wanted to get across to y'all. I hope y'all understood that, and I hope it means something to y'all. If you're new to homesteading, go back and look and see how I started. I started from scratch, basically. And you got to get you a piece of land and then start working it from there. It takes time. It takes a lot of time. I'm not even nowhere close, and I've been on this piece of land for 3 years. All right, y'all. Thanks for watching.